I see you, baby. Get your shine on. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Quintessential Queens podcast right here at IntellectualRadio.com and iHeart Radio Station. And it is cold outside today. It's cold in Chicago, y'all. But that didn't stop these two queens from coming here to take care of the business we need to take care of. I want to welcome my friend, my guest, Queen Dr. Lavana Woodfork. Now, Lavana, tell us about, you got these degrees here. You're doctor, you're ED, you're an educator. We got an educator in the house today.
Yes.
Let's go through that. Tell me about that because education is important.
Oh, absolutely, it is. So I actually graduated in 2000 with my first degree, my bachelor's in elementary education. I started off as a third and fourth grade teacher. And then in 2004, I graduated with my first master's from inner city studies, from Northeastern as well. Second master's, library, no, actually my type 75, so administration, school administration. My third master's, that's when I received my library science degree from Chicago State. And my last degree, my fifth and final degree, my doctorate of educational leadership in Chicago State.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. I'm clapping for you, tipping my crown to you. So you are an educator.
Yes.
And Lavana is, you work in CPS.
Absolutely.
You're working in the Chicago public school system.
Yes.
So, we have a lot going on in our school system, and we seem to have always had a lot going on with it. But tell us your role there, why you chose that, and why is it important to you?
So currently, I am the case manager. What the case manager, what their job entails is pretty much they're in charge of the diverse learners in the school. So the special ed department, most people know about special ed department, but it's called diverse learners. So on my team, I have the nurse, the psychologist, the social worker, the OT, and then
OT?
also occupational therapist. Sorry, and then I also the teachers, the diverse learner teachers. So I'm in charge of the that team where I pretty much set up like the meetings. I'm the liaison between the students, the teachers, and parents,
and that whole big wonderful staff you named.
Yes,
you named the teacher, the psychologist, the nurse, and the students and the parents. So this collaboration of everybody. So you said diverse learning, formerly known as special ed, which we don't use the term anymore. So it's diverse learning. What tell me why are you into the diverse learning? What is it about that you feel strongly about?
I love my diverse learners. Actually, it's a newer role for me. I became a case manager and right before COVID, February of 2020. So let me tell you what happened. Before I was, like I said, I was an elementary school teacher. Then I became a librarian in elementary school. Then I became a high school librarian. Went back to elementary school. And so I've been a little bit all over the place. I enjoy being in high school as a librarian, and I also enjoy being fourth grade was my favorite grade to teach. They're no longer the babies, and they're not the oldest, so they're kind of like in between. So parents give fourth graders a little grace. But so I enjoy it because it was diverse, and it allows me to see what kind of grades I kind of lean towards the most. So like I said, that fourth grade is my favorite grade. But like I said, I have all those degrees. So after my grandmother called me a professional student. So in 2017, when I graduated, I didn't want to go back to get another degree. So I decided to get a certificate in special education. And because I received that certification, we had someone leave at the time. And my principal was like, oh, we need someone to step into this position. And I just received that certification the year prior. And with this position, you have to be personable. You have to be able to relate to all stakeholders. So it's not something that, I know there's people who's been a diverse learner teacher for maybe 20 years, but that doesn't mean that they'll be an excellent case manager because remember, you're in charge of everyone. You have to schedule all the meetings. You have to talk to the parents. So you have to know how to talk to people.
And you're the liaison for
Absolutely.
everybody. You're
Absolutely.
coordinating and collaborating
Absolutely.
things for the students, the parents, and the school.
Yes. So I'm texting parents like, hey, did you get this notice in the mail about the meeting? Oh, I didn't receive it. Well, I'm texting you and I'm calling you and I'm sending them notice by your child. So I'm pretty much stalking parents, which they enjoy. So it's good because thank God I have that relationship with them that they don't feel like
That is really
they're not
stalking.
threatened. Yeah, they're not threatened by me. So they know that I'm doing what's best for the kids at the end of the day. They know I tell them all the time, I can't be a better advocate for your child than you are. So they know that. So
I like that. I
So
like that
that's
very
why.
much. You said you can't be a better advocate for the children than their own parents.
absolutely.
What role do you think the parents should play or are playing in being advocates for their children?
So some parents are doing the best that they can, and you can't knock that. But sometimes, they say when you know better, you do better. And so this is why you're supposed to inform them. I'm the liaison between the school and home. So I kind of break it down in layman's terms because you might have a report from the psychologist or the nurse, etc. They don't know what that means. So I'm pretty much interpreting what it is that they said. Long story short.
Long
So
story short.
yeah, so I enjoy that role because again, the parents, they love me. And the reason I say that is because some of these parents were actually my former students before. So I have a history with them. So they know I wouldn't do anything to their child to hurt them because they know how I was as a teacher.
So they trust you.
Absolutely,
There's
they
a
trust me.
large trust factor and a good rapport there.
Absolutely. This is my 24th year. I started in 2000. So I kind of think I know a little bit what I'm doing. So
I would say you know a lot. You
Yeah.
know a lot.
Yeah.
You ran down that gamut of education for us. So I would say
Yes.
you know a lot. Where do you think, I don't want to say what the problems are, but I'm going to say what are the problems, because we have a lot of that, and we have a lot of parents that they voice when it's an issue and they don't call it an issue. They voice when there are things that need to be improved. Where do you think the lapse is? Where do you think it is, and what can we do to fix it?
So what I really would like is for, especially in the Black and Brown communities, is for our parents to have a little bit more support for education for the school, because, like you said, they tell us when something's wrong, but they never tell us when we're doing something right. Or like, I'm gonna give you an example. So for report card pickup, like we have to schedule appointments, etc. We're sending notices on Remind. We're sending Dojo, etc. Calling, doing robocalls, and begging parents to come out for a report card pickup. But if a parent is having their child is having an issue at school about something that happened in the neighborhood, not even at school, they're quick to come up there for that, but not to see about their child education. We send notices home, progress reports home. And me, I'm a parent before I'm anything. I would want to know why my child is receiving a C or a D in your classroom. Or if they're at a B, what can they do to kind of get that A? That's the type of parent that I was. It's okay to get a hard C. That's fine. But, at the end of the day, show some interest in something besides, oh, this child is bullying my child, or I heard you took my child potato chips, something like that. Come up there, to see the child perform. We have performances. We have a lot of partners that my school partners with. We're a sustainable school community, which means we have a kind of additional funds where we can bring different community members in. We have a whole orchestra for the students. They come in after school. Different partnerships, breakthrough ministries, etc., that come in with our school. So we have opportunities. When they say there's a lack of resources, we can't say that's always the case because our kids are in our school from 8:30 to 6, Monday through Thursday. That's a long time.
That is a long time.
That's a long time.
A long time to spend away from the home and the house, from
Absolutely.
your parents.
Absolutely.
And you're spending it with teachers and case managers and everybody, like every person you mentioned.
Yes.
Before this. So then that means it's important for those people to be, maybe even to exhibit the characteristics you were asking from the parents, to be supportive, to be personable,
Absolutely.
to show up, to be available.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, as a parent and an educator, but I don't educate in the CPS. My hat's off to you. You talking about you like high school. Adolescence is a rough period of time for the parent and the child.
That's true.
It's I would be like, "Ugh, I like early childhood
I have two
education for
children at home. I know,
myself."
but two young adults at home.
They're
So trust
grown
me.
people now. Now
I say
that
young adults.
they didn't tell us about that though. That you think once they get 18,
People think it gets
19,
easier the older their kids get. That's absolutely a myth.
it's absolutely not the truth.
No, it is not.
Because yeah, how
You
many of
can
y'all
kind of
out
form the
there?
little kids' minds, but when they're older, they want to do what they want to do, and
They do, and then you have grown children in your pocket. You still
absolutely,
got
I
grown
do.
children in your pocket, and under your care and under your tutelage, which
That's true.
we wanted to be tutelage, but like you said, they get a certain age, and it's like I really want to do what I want to do.
Hmm.
So it's important to build them up, train them up the way that we want them to go. I really believe in that. If you train up a child the way you want them to go, they won't
Hmm.
depart from it. They might depart, they might wander off,
Little
but the
bit.
the
It's
foundation is
still
there.
there.
The foundation
Absolutely.
is there. So then tell me, what supports do you all have, or do you wish you all had, for the parents of these students? Because sometimes the parents need support.
And I agree with that. So my school, and actually, we just hired two parent employees this week. Well, last week. We have meetings where we invite the parents in, for support, or etc. Um, the thing that saddens me is that sometimes they will only come if we are offering, food raffles, etc. But there's support there for parents. And when we say the parents are the first teachers, the first thing that people think of is, well, I don't teach my kids math. I can't teach it like you all can. That's not what we're referring to when we say that.
Okay.
Teaching them manners, to sit down and respect the teacher. That's what we mean when we say parents are the first teachers. The foundation. Teaching them that their name, their first, middle, and last name is, and not stinky butt man. Stuff like that. It makes a difference. But so just having that support and having those workshops and stuff for parents, we provide that opportunity for parents in the building. And I know some schools may not have all the funding or whatever, but like I said, we are a sustainable school community, so we have the funding for parental workshops and support. But it's just sometimes it's hard getting them there, and you're kind of discouraged when the teachers stay late. We already stay late and we don't get paid additional, which is fine. We're used to it. But then when you stay and then parents are not coming, you kind of get a little discouraged. So there's opportunities there. Like I said, it's not like it's portrayed.
Mhm, yeah. So we got that side of it.
Hmm.
Do you see the parents' side of it, where sometimes
It's overwhelming.
not just the overwhelming, but maybe they don't feel the support from the teachers. Maybe that child is not getting support from the teachers. And when you're talking about diverse learners, because
Hmm.
I worked as a nurse on a
Hmm.
behavioral health unit, and on those units we have children with autism,
Yes.
children with I can't think of what we call it now. The what learning,
Learn
let's just say
disability.
learning
Learn.
disabilities.
Okay.
And they had a lot of behavioral issues that interfered with their learning.
Mhm.
Their intermittent explosive disorders. They were easy to anger because of everything else that's going on that they don't have a coping skill for. The child needs support, and definitely those parents need support.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, those children, they get targeted.
Hmm.
They want to kick them out of the school instead of helping them. What can we do to bridge that gap for both parent and child and teachers, so that there's better understanding, more support? What can we do?
So this is where the social emotional learning comes in, because again, sometimes if a child has a learning disability, we think that they have a behavior problem, when in actuality it's the lack of knowledge, and they feel singled out, so they're gonna act out. So building relationships is key. I tell my parents all the time, especially when I was a classroom teacher, I'm a parent before anything. So I wouldn't do anything to your child that I wouldn't do to mine. And because I built that relationship with my parents, the students saw that, and it actually made my job easier, because I've had some students that bipolar or schizophrenic disorder in my classroom, and I still had to teach my students that were not labeled, or my gen ed population. Um, the day still has to go on. But again, you have to build those relationships with those students and those parents, and provide that social emotional support. There's a lot of SEL going on in Chicago public schools right now. And each classroom in my building, they have this part of it's a curriculum where they have to do those lessons to teach, what do you do, like what if scenarios, or not even just like labeling students, what do they used to call them, the students, the special ed students, they used to call them names like, oh, retarded, and stuff like that. Like, instead of labeling them, just because a student has autism does not mean that they can't learn. Those are some of the brightest kids. They just learn differently, and you're just trying to figure out their learning style and kind of relate to that and find some activities that they can do. So I found that that's the best thing to do with the student, because you can talk to. We often forget that students have feelings too. Talk to them and ask them, what's the best way for you to learn?
I like that. I like that so much. So you build the relationship with the student and the parent.
Absolutely.
We don't label them,
Hmm.
and let's remember that they can learn. They
Hmm.
just learn differently. They learn differently. What are the skills you possess to help with the what do you call this? So you said social emotional learning,
Hmm.
SEL. Explain to us a bit about that, what that means, and who it is it affecting.
And when you say who, meaning, I mean, because it affects everyone. Because if you have a student who has an outburst in the classroom, that's affecting learning for everyone in the class, and it's affecting the teacher because she can't do her job. She's frustrated. He's frustrated. So this is why it's important to talk about boundary setting with students, because kids need to know that they have boundaries with their classmates as well. It's important. Feelings, even expressing feelings, because sometimes students don't know how to express that I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm upset because I can't learn, I don't know what this is, and it's okay, but letting them know that it's okay. It's okay to have an outlet, but I want it to be, an outlet where it's not disruptive. And kids are still kids. We have to remember that too, because we all did some stuff as children, that my parents probably wasn't so, you know.
Everybody ain't that happy about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, because they're still kids. We have to remember that they're still children.
That was something you said, which we taught our children or our adolescents in the hospital where I worked on the unit, that it is okay to be angry, but how you express that anger
Hmm.
is what we want to work on. It is okay to not agree and to feel frustrated, but you can't punch holes in walls. You can't throw things down the
Hmm.
hall. You can't be beating up on people.
Yeah,
How
those
you
coping,
express it.
giving them coping skills. That's what they need.
And
Adults
you might
need.
have to teach it. You might have to teach that in
Absolutely.
school. We definitely taught it on the behavior health unit because their parents don't know how
Problem
to teach
solving. A lot
them.
of people have
And
issue with problem solving. It's not just children.
yes,
So that's why I think it's important that everyone is getting these lessons in the building, because when the teacher's exposed to the curriculum, then they're going over some things and they're learning some as well. Like, oh, I can't call this student. That's because he has autism doesn't mean that he shouldn't be in a general ed classroom setting. He should. He doesn't. The years ago when we thought of the special ed students, we thought of them being isolated. That's no longer, because they can learn just like other students can learn. So we need to find a way to incorporate and integrate them in the classroom setting, just like the general ed students. So that's why I said I think at the end of the day, building relationships is one of the most important things an educator can do.
and that's so wonderful. You transition right into that because I remember when the where what used to be known as special ed or what we call social emotional learning. Now they were separate.
Hmm.
They were in a separate class, and then I remember when they moved them
Hmm.
to the general ed class, and so a lot of parents did not like that. They did not want that because they felt like, oh, this is going to interrupt my child's learning. You said something different. What is the reason that they made that move? What's the positive aspect of that?
I mean, because everyone always hollers "No Child Left Behind," and then we don't want to single out students. You're singling them out when you separate them from other students, isolate them, and that's because a student again learns differently does not mean that they can't learn, and they should be in a setting with their general ed peers. So I think that's important. And then this is where you do the accommodation and modification. So they're in a general ed setting, but that doesn't mean that we can't. So if the children are learning two-digit multiplication, maybe I have to give my diverse learner maybe one-digit multiplication, on the side. It doesn't have to. I don't have to just pinpoint you're doing this while the rest of us are doing that. You don't have to identify it out loud. Um, but again, modifying it. Even sometimes they just might need something as simple as being close to an adult, being close to the
Yes.
teacher, wearing glasses.
Wearing glasses.
Because some students can't see. It's something as simple as that. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many parents we have to say, "Hey, your child needs glasses. Can you make sure you go get take them to go get glasses?" And I'll have a coupon that someone has given me for free glasses to make sure that they receive those services. Because again, if I can't see what's on the board, then I'm not going to do the work. And the first thing we're going to say as an educator is they're being defiant. Well, they're not really necessarily being defiant. They can't see. So it's a difference.
I think that's the important role of the teachers, that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you want to anticipate some needs. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not so much that they're interrupting or being disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
They can't see. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they can't hear
That's true.
the instructions that are being given, or they don't understand it. A lot of times it was the children we dealt with, they didn't understand it and it upset them, and here you go with the explosiveness.
That's
Tell
true.
me, when you mentioned about the coupon you might give to someone whose child can't see, does the Chicago Public Schools provide those services? If the parent does, they find out their child
Mm-hmm.
needs some visual assistance, or
Yes.
maybe even auditory or hearing assistance, how does the Chicago Public School help that family?
So we do have vision, hearing and vision testing that come into school. We even have a mobile van that comes in and provide like physicals, immunizations and stuff for the students. So they provide that, and if we don't have it at every school, they provide a place where parents can go for support. So there's always support there. The nurses I pass will give me information for me to pass along to parents
Yes.
often, because again, there's something in the community, someone or some place in the community where they can find this help at. It's just a matter of the parents going to get it. So but yeah, but CPS, they send emails out, for us to pass along to parents, and hopefully they take the assistance that they need. So but I actually, and sometimes we have different organizations that will donate different items to students, whatever, or will pay for some glasses. You never know. So, but just making sure the students get the services that they need. But yeah, there's always support there. Again, that's because they're not at every school. CPS will provide a list of places that they can go to for testing, additional testing, or for free glasses, etc. So, and sometimes they even just they brought them in the school where they've had the testing, etc., and they'll bring the glasses.
And I want to encourage parents to ask. Part of advocating for your children is reaching out
Mm-hmm.
to the school and seeing what they have available for you. I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing that the school promotes we have these services so the parents know.
That's true.
But ask, it's a lot of shame with that, with diverse learners, if
Mm-hmm.
they're autistic, if they have behavioral health issues. We want to do away with that. We
That's
want
true.
everyone to understand that you're included, you matter, your child matters. Don't be afraid to go and ask for the assistance that you need. If you find out my child can't really see well and we don't really got the funds to buy a
That
bunch of new
pride,
glasses,
yeah, you have to put
don't
the
be
pride
afraid
to the
to
side.
ask.
Absolutely, you have to put the pride to the side. I definitely, and like now we have students out of compliance. We had the medical van once, and we have a coming again next month. Just getting the parents to fill out the paperwork to see the medical van. It's like, okay, I understand if you can't get them in the doctor to see the doctor, because some of these the wait lists are long.
I understand. Yes, yes. I mean,
we
they're
and
long
we
for us.
Absolutely, because I just called to get because my doctor changed, and they was like, "Oh, well, he's seeing new patients in April. It's January." So we
Right.
understand that, but at the end of the day, these students need a physical. So we provide the medical van at the school. We just need the parents' permission. And so the nurse is calling, the clerk is calling, I'm calling. It's a lot.
So you're saying there's no short of outreach to
Absolutely, because
inform
I'm not the only person
the
calling.
parent
Trust
and
me.
student that we have this service for you on this
Hmm.
day and we really would like you all
Hmm.
to show up for it.
Absolutely, we do. Because again, we have a few people who will reach out.
What's the one message you want to get across about education and what it is that you do?
I just want to stress the importance of education. to my community, and also how important it is to support the school, support the teachers, because I tell the parents, the first thing they say, if you allow your child to disrespect an adult, you'll be the next person that they disrespect. So never allow a child to disrespect an adult. And I tell the students, if you feel like an adult did you wrong, you have adults in this building that can handle it, and you have a parent that you can talk to that will deal with that. It's never your job to try to correct an adult. I'm not saying that they're always right. Absolutely. But because everyone might not have the same philosophy as me, because again, I wouldn't mistreat anyone's child because I wouldn't want anyone mistreating my kids. So everyone might not feel the same way, but I know that's me. That's what's genuine about me because I'm sincere with it. And, parents know, they know. But I just want them to realize the support, it doesn't stop when the kids graduate kindergarten and with the pre-K graduations, etc. It's lifelong. It's lifelong.
It is definitely lifelong.
Absolutely.
It is definitely lifelong. I thank you for that, telling us about your role in the education. Now, tell me about, you are a member of AKA.
Yes.
You said you are how many years or months away from being a life member?
So next year I'll be 25, which is considered silver, and I'll be a life member then. 25 consecutive years of service next year, God willing. So yes, and so tomorrow is our Founders Day.
Tomorrow is your Founders Day.
Absolutely.
So now tell us what AKA stands for and the service. What service are you all doing? Because I know you have an event coming up soon.
Oh, we do. So tomorrow from MLK Day, we have a program at the Cyber Museum, and we've been doing it for couple years now, prior to COVID. And it's from 10 to 6. All ages are invited. So if you are free tomorrow, please come out to the Cyber Museum. All ages. We'll have different arts and crafts. We'll have storytellers. We'll have hip hop artists. We'll have a DJ. They'll do tours of the museum. So please come out. And if you get a chance, please follow the Monarch Awards Foundation on social media. And we talk about the different events we do throughout the community. We just did our community feeding, et cetera, at the end of November. So we do things throughout the year. So if they follow Monarch Awards Foundation, then they'll be able to make sure that they find out the different things we have going on in the community. So
tell me again about the event tomorrow, where it is, what times.
Mm-hmm. So it's at the Dusable Museum. I forgot the exact address of the Dusable Museum. I just know how to get there.
You know how it is.
You know how Chicagoans, how we are. Like
I don't know the address. I know how to get there.
Exactly. I don't know my friend address. I know how to get there. Yeah. So, and it's from 10 to 6. But I should just come in a little bit earlier because it's probably more like tours and stuff towards the end. But like the arts and crafts activities, the different storytellers and dancers, etc., will probably take place between like 10 to 4, 10 to 3. So the earlier, the better. But it'll be an all-day activity from 10 to 6 where, we're talking about the importance of, Martin Luther King and, and not just him, but our culture, period.
Our culture. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that very much. It gives everybody something to do tomorrow because the kids are out of school tomorrow.
They are. And it's free. I forgot to make sure I mentioned that. Yeah.
Mention it once more.
It's free. It's free 99. So please come out. It's definitely free.
It's free 99.
It's free to come out, and you're able to not just come out and for the activities, but you'll get a chance to explore the museum. So if you've never been to the Dusable Museum, you'll get an opportunity to come tomorrow. So come check us out tomorrow.
That is excellent. That's excellent. Now tell me more about your sorority.
Well, I've been a member since 2000. I don't know what else you. I don't want to get into the whole typical because I think a lot of people, when Kamala became the vice president elect, I think everyone and their mom, if they didn't know about AKA,
they knew about it.
They knew about it because I had people hit me up. Hey, can you tell me a little bit more about how to become a member? I'm like, baby, my students are always. I'm just like, well, make sure that you're on top of your grades and make sure you attend college. That's most important. I'm like, you just can't say I want to become a member. You have to be, in college, and you have to have a certain GPA. So we express the importance of education and community service because we do different events in the community. Even do like the community feeding that we did. I even got my hands dirty and did a garden. I can't think of the name, but the school was like on 69th. in that area. We did the garden, and we did it a couple times throughout the year, mentoring young men and women. So different, like I said, we just had our tribute to Black men a couple weeks ago in Tinley Park. So it's not just for like little, the events aren't just for kids, it's throughout, it's for all ages. So just again, just make sure you follow up. And it's not this typical. I know people think that when they think of sororities, because I know it's a lot of our sorority and fraternities anniversaries now, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so tired of going on social
It
media
is.
seeing
It's a
you
lot
all."
of fraternities and
But
sororities
it's
anniversaries.
more service than it is partying. We're gonna have a good time because it's so much community involved that when it's time to enjoy, we're gonna enjoy. Like we just had a Founders Day event yesterday, my chapter, and it was just glad to be around sorors because we've been in the house for COVID and then online meetings. So just to see a familiar face, it was always good. But again, the one thing that I can say that's common about all sororities and fraternities is service to the community, because you see us out there, not just, when we're, marching for what's right in the community, but you see us, serving the community as far as mentoring young men and women, because I think that's so important, being a good role model to kids. Because again, back to my role, I'm always going to say I'm always going to have a heart for kids because I'm an educator. The parents who may not have the means or the means or the opportunity. So even if it's just buying a kid a gift, or going with them to a service organization where they're passing out meals, etc., I think that's important. So building a garden in the school, beautifying it. That stuff is important. So teaching students and adults about the importance of financing, because again, that's something that our community needs work with, to understand that just because we have the means doesn't mean we have to spend it all the time. So I think that
I
that's
like that. And what you spend it on.
yeah,
I like that.
absolutely. So I mean, so it's finances, etc. Teaching about history. So it's a vast array. It's not just you see them out there looking good and and partying, but that's the least of it. Trust me, it really is.
I'm glad you brought that point, that the brotherhood of fraternity and the
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood of sorority
Mm-hmm.
is service to the community
Yes.
as well as everything else. So yeah, it's a lot of Founders Day coming up, because I know a lot of Greeks that are doing,
Yes.
they're posting everything everywhere. But so we've talked about service, we've talked about education, we've talked about mentorship, we've talked about things that are very important to you and me. I'm a grand advocate of education.
Yes.
I'm an advocate of education. I'm an advocate of trade. The education is not just collegiate. There's trade schools that
Oh, and I wish we really had
I
more
wish we had
trade
more.
schools.
I remember when they closed them down. I remember when they did
Yes.
that, the vocational schools and trade schools. Advocate of those things.
We
Everybody should
need
find a point
plumbers.
in
We
there.
need, we need HVAC guys. We need those.
We do. We need those. We need those, and it's important that everyone knows that all of that is part of vocation. All of that
Absolutely.
is part of vocation. What last words do you want to leave us, Miss Dr. Woodfork? What would you like to leave us with here today?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm such a busy. I'm laughing. This is my girl. So she's actually one of my classmates. We went to high school
We
together.
did. Schurz, Carl Schurz, Bulldogs in the house. I
That's
hope y'all
right.
watching.
That's right. And she's also one of my actually one of my favorite customers, because I also have a side business that I do too. I make candles. Well, a lot of body products, but candles especially.
Talk about that. What's the name of that, of your business?
Okay, it's called Sense by DMW. Sense with an S by DMW. DMW are my kids' initials, so that's where I
That's
got the
why
name
it's
from. Sense by
DMW.
DMW. I started making candles because, as much as I love candles, they trigger my migraines. And so after doing research, I had to figure out like what it. I love my house to smell good all the time, so I had to figure out what can I use in as an option besides paraffin wax. So I got into soy, and then my friends and family would come over and be like, "Oh, your house smells good. Can you make me one?" And that's how I ended up getting into the candle business, etc. And it's a nice side business because everyone loves candles, and everyone loves to smell good, and they have to smell good. And I love nice body butter because I like my skin to be soft. And I'm gonna have a little dry
So do
skin,
I.
so
So do
I
I. I
have to do a
need some
little,
of that today.
but so I do that on the side, and I enjoy it. It's actually relaxing because being an educator, it is sometimes can be mentally draining because because we take on a lot, and that's like my stress relief. It's time consuming, but yeah, it's my stress relief. So I actually love doing that as well. And I enjoy when my customers enjoy my products because I always have someone, well, you think you can bring me? Oh, I just love your body butter. I just love. So I love when I hear people say that because again, I got into it for me because my health, because you have to, everyone thinks about their food, what they intake as far as food, and they never think about environment. Certain things you can't light up or plug in, etc. And I love me, so I read after research. I'm like, okay, well, so it costs a little bit more money, but I know I'm worth a little bit, a couple more dollars.
The little
So
well,
yeah.
I am a customer of yours, and the body butters, the shower steamers,
Yes,
the thing,
that's
you
one
put
of
them
my
in the
tops.
shower and the steam comes up. And the candles, what's so wonderful about that product is that they're not overwhelming. For anyone who might have allergies to certain things, the scents are very calming, and they don't overwhelm your home. It's very
That's
nice,
true.
and it doesn't overwhelm your skin or your body. So tell us the name of your products again, and how can people get those products?
It's called Sense, SCENTS by BYDMW. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and I also have a website, www.sensebydmw.com. Just hit me up on social media, and I have a website. Like I said, you can order through the website.
Well, thank you so much, Lavana, Dr. Lavana
Thank you for
Woodforth.
having
Thank you
me.
for coming here and giving us that perspective about education and diverse learning and social emotional learning. A lot of people probably didn't even know that this thing existed. So thank you
That's
so
true.
much for coming here and on this cold day.
It's Chicago. We should be used to it. I've been in
That's what
Chicago
everybody
all
keeps
my
saying,
life.
but I ain't used to it yet, and I've
I'll
been
take
here all
the
50
cold over
years
the
of my life.
snow. The snow, I just nah.
It's the
We don't
cold
know how
I
to
can't deal
drive.
with.
We don't know how to drive in the sunshine. We definitely sometimes don't know how to drive in the snow. So I'll take the snow. I'll take the cold.
You take the cold. I like fall and spring.
Summer.
Let me thank everyone for joining us today here on the Quintessential Queens podcast, right here on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartRadio station. Thank you all for joining us. Next week, Rhea Ray Harris will be in this seat. Thank you, my girl. This is my friend right here.
Thank you for having me.
One time for the babies on the south side, the east side, the west side, the north side.